No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Feel the weight in your shoulders right now, the invisible, crushing exhaustion of constantly trying to be good. Think about the last time you bent over backwards for someone, only to be met with a cold, indifferent shoulder. Feel that familiar, hollow ache in the center of your chest. It is a tightness, a quiet, burning sensation of betrayal. You swallow your pride, you force a smile, and you tell yourself that being the bigger person is the right thing to do. But deep down, a heavy knot of resentment begins to form. You give, and you give, and you give, and what is your reward? You are overlooked, you are dismissed, you are treated as an afterthought in the lives of the very people you helped build. It feels as though your kindness is an open invitation for others to wipe their feet on your dignity. You watch the selfish people thrive. You watch the arrogant people command respect and attention. And you sit in silence, left wondering, why is my goodness penalized? Why does extending an open hand so often result in losing an arm? This is not just bad luck. It is a dark, unspoken psychological law that you have been violating your entire life. And until you understand it, the world will continue to take from you until you have nothing left to give. Imagine a man sitting in a quiet, dimly lit study in Switzerland nearly a century ago. The walls are lined with ancient texts on alchemy, mythology, and the darkest corners of the human mind. This man is Carl Jung. He spends his days listening to the secrets of the polite, the well-mannered, the exceedingly kind people of high society. On the surface, these are model citizens. They are the people-pleasers, the self-sacrificing parents, the endlessly compliant employees, the nice guys. But Jung notices something deeply unsettling about these purely good people. Beneath their gentle smiles, they are suffering immensely. They are paralyzed by neuroses, mysterious anxieties, and chronic depression. And perhaps most tragically, they are routinely trampled upon by the world around them. Jung peers beneath the carefully constructed mask of their civility, a mask he calls the persona, and he does not find a saint hiding behind that mask. He finds a prisoner. He discovers that these kind people have locked away a massive, vital part of their own humanity. They have severed their ties with their own primal, animalistic nature. They have built a pristine, beautiful house, but they have locked a starving, rabid beast in the basement. And Jung realizes a terrifying truth about modern morality. Society tells us that to be good, we must be harmless. We are taught from childhood to be quiet, to turn the other cheek, to suppress our rage, to never show teeth. We cut off our claws, believing that this sacrifice of our own power makes us moral. But Jung saw a profound tragedy in this. He realized that a harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is simply weak. And weakness, in a world that still operates on the ancient biological laws of power, does not invite gratitude, it invites exploitation. Let us look deeply into the psychological mirror at the true anatomy of your kindness. Why do people disrespect you when you are nothing but nice to them? To understand this deeply, we must explore Jung's most dangerous concept, the shadow. The shadow is everything inside of you that you refuse to acknowledge. It is your aggression, your capacity for anger, your dominance, your lust, and your danger. When you are fiercely committed to being a kind person, you repress these darker traits. You construct an identity based entirely on being agreeable and submissive. But here is the brutal reality of human interaction. People do not respect you just because you are nice. People respect you because they sense that you have boundaries, and boundaries require the implicit threat of force. Think of a sheathed sword. A master swordsman keeps his weapon in its scabbard. He is peaceful, he is calm, and everyone in the room knows that if they cross a line, the sword will be drawn. His peace is deeply respected because it is a choice. Now imagine a man who has no sword at all. He is also peaceful, he is also calm, he is also polite.
But his peace is not respected. Why? Because he has no other option. He is not peaceful, he is utterly harmless. And human beings, whether we like to admit it or not, are predators at our core. Our brains evolved over millions of years in a brutal hierarchy, and we have an ancient radar for weakness. When you interact with others, they are unconsciously testing the perimeter of your defenses. They make a passive-aggressive joke at your expense. They ask for a favor that crosses a subtle line. They are tapping on the glass of your psyche, waiting to see if a monster wakes up and pushes back. But when you respond to their disrespect with more kindness, when you respond with a nervous laugh or an unearned apology to keep the peace, you send a dangerous signal directly to their unconscious mind. You are telling them, there is no sword in my scabbard. You can walk all over me, and I will thank you for the privilege. When you repress your shadow, you strip yourself of the tools required to command basic human respect. You lack the terrifying stillness that warns others to back away. You physically shrink, your posture hunches, your voice rises in pitch at the end of sentences, turning statements into questions. And the paradox is, the nicer you try to be, the more you actually irritate the people around you. Because unconscious minds speak to each other beneath the surface. When people interact with someone who is completely agreeable, they feel a deep instinctive mistrust. They sense that your kindness is a manipulation strategy. Because true goodness requires immense strength, but extreme niceness is often just a coward's defense mechanism. You are nice because you are afraid of conflict. Your kindness is a bribe. You are secretly saying, I will do whatever you want, just please do not abandon me. People can feel this emotional desperation, and it naturally repulses them. It makes them view you not as an equal, but as a subordinate. Furthermore, Jung warned of a psychological phenomenon called enandradomia. This is the tendency of things to eventually turn into their exact opposites. When you violently push your anger into the shadow, it does not disappear, it ferments. It grows massively stronger in the darkness of your unconscious mind, and eventually it leaks out in toxic, destructive ways. The overly kind person is almost always the most passive-aggressive person in the room. They agree to do a favor, but they do it with a subtle sigh, keeping a silent, meticulous scorecard of every good deed. They secretly hate the people they are helping, feeling constantly victimized. This is the dark side of being purely good. You become a victim by your own choice, and you silently punish the world for your own complete lack of boundaries. Jung famously said that he would rather be whole than good. To be whole means to embrace the darkness within you. It means walking down the stairs into the basement of your psyche, looking your inner monster in the eye and realizing that it is not your enemy. It is your protector. Your capacity for anger is exactly what guards your dignity. Your capacity for cruelty is exactly what allows you to sever ties with toxic people without hesitation.
Without the integration of your shadow, your kindness is nothing but a hollow, fragile shell. It is the forced kindness of a slave, not the chosen kindness of a king. So, how do you stop this endless cycle of disrespect? How do you stop being the emotional dumping ground for everyone else's problems? You must undergo the painful, liberating process of shadow integration. This is not an easy path, and people will push back when you change. They will call you selfish because they are losing the version of you that was so easily controlled. Let them complain.
Here are 3 vital, uncompromising steps to forge your new reality. Step 1. Discover the monster. You must first admit with brutal honesty that you are deeply capable of malice. Stop telling yourself the comforting lie that you are purely altruistic. Take a quiet moment today in total isolation and look deep into the abyss of your own mind. Acknowledge the dark fantasies you have suppressed. Acknowledge the moments when you have wanted to lash out, when you have felt bitter jealousy, when you have wanted to dominate those who have wronged you. Do not judge these feelings. Breathe them in. Recognize that this dark, volatile energy is a completely natural part of the human biological condition. It is the raw, unrefined fire in your belly. By consciously accepting that you have a monster inside of you, you take away its subversive control over your actions. You look the monster in the eyes and say, "I know you are there, and from now on, I will channel your strength." Step 2. Set the boundary of teeth. The world will only respect your boundaries if they know there are severe consequences for breaking them. You must learn the sacred, terrifying art of saying no. And you must do it without an apology, without a nervous explanation, and without a shred of guilt. When someone asks you for something that crosses your personal lines, look them directly in the eye and simply say, "No, I won't be able to do that." Let the word no stand on its own like a brick wall. Feel the intense physical discomfort that naturally rises in your chest when you refuse someone. That discomfort is the death rattle of your people-pleasing persona. Let it die. Stand in the silence that follows your refusal. When you speak, speak from the stomach, not from the throat. Lower the pitch of your voice. Stop softening your emails with exclamation marks and apologetic qualifiers. When someone makes a disrespectful comment disguised as a joke, do not laugh it off to break the tension. Hold their gaze, let the silence stretch uncomfortably, and let them feel the sudden, freezing drop in temperature. Make them explain the joke. Show them your teeth. You do not need to yell. You do not need to curse. True, terrifying power is entirely silent. It is the quiet, immovable confidence of a predator that does not need to roar to prove it is dangerous. Step 3. Wield the sword of conditional kindness. Kindness is a beautiful, life-giving force in this world, but it must never, ever be given out for free. Your kindness must be a precious gift that is actively earned, not a basic right that is aggressively demanded. From this day forward, your kindness is strictly conditional. You will give it to those who deeply respect you. You will give it to those who actively honor your boundaries. But the exact moment someone views your kindness as a weakness, the very second they step out of line and attempt to use you, the sword is drawn. You immediately withdraw your warmth. You become cold, unyielding, and completely unreachable. You teach people exactly how to treat you by what you actively tolerate.
When you make your kindness exclusive and heavily guarded, its perceived value skyrockets. People will instantly stop taking you for granted. They will realize that your goodness is a conscious choice made by a highly powerful person, not a nervous reflex made by a remarkably weak one. To be truly kind, you must have the absolute capacity to be dangerous. You must integrate the light and the dark, the saint and the sinner, the compassionate healer and the ruthless warrior. When you merge these two opposing halves of your soul, a profound alchemical transformation occurs. The chronic anxiety vanishes. The underlying exhaustion fades into the ether. The hollow ache in the center of your chest is permanently replaced by a solid, immovable core of ironclad self-respect. You no longer walk through the world frantically hoping not to be stepped on. You walk through the world with a heavy, grounded step, knowing perfectly well that no one would dare. Your smile becomes genuinely radiant because it is no longer being used as a shield to deflect conflict. Your generosity becomes pure and uncorrupted because it is no longer a desperate bribe for affection. You stand tall, firmly grounded in the terrifying, magnificent totality of who you really are. You are no longer a fragment. You are a complete human being. Wild, dangerous, self-possessed, and fiercely, unapologetically good. Because as the ancient wisdom reminds us, no tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell.